back in Dubai, AIBC coverage. Davinci Jeremie, fan favorite, running one of the world's largest crypto channels, Davinci J15. Check it out on YouTube and on social media. We'll put the links down below. Davinci, you're an educator of Bitcoin and cryptos and blockchain, and you're well known for being one of the earliest adopters of Bitcoin. You and I talked about that last time. You got diamond hands.
Yes, exactly. This diamond hand ring, you can actually buy this ring. It's available for sale, and it represents diamond hands. So if you're gonna hold Bitcoin, right, with diamond hands, you deserve one of these rings, right? Because it will go up and it will continue on to be money in the future.
We're going to talk about a lot of things, but let's start with that, and we'll talk about the banking system and the future of money. Diamond hands, are you still holding on to Bitcoin after everything that's been happening? I talked to you last time, FTX failed, now SVB, now Signature Bank, now Silvergate, something probably coming up next, going to fail. People are saying all these failures are going to bring down cryptos. You're still a diamond hands?
Yes, I'm still a diamond hands. Keep in mind, I bought Bitcoin back in 2011 when I bought it for 67 cents. I even bought it all the way up to the local high back then of $32. I bought the $32 top and watched it drop all the way down to $2, and I still kept buying all the way down and held all those Bitcoins since then. So, do you consider me a diamond hander?
You must get this question all the time. Why don't you sell? You've made enough. Sell now.
I have sold some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think now are people saying, should you sell all of it now because Bitcoin is going to, let me give you a statement. Bitcoin's going to crash along with the rest of the crypto markets. All the crypto banks are failing. No one's trusting the system anymore.
It could possibly crash with the rest of the system because they are using Bitcoin as a means to keep the confidence up whenever they try to, whenever something bad happens. Unfortunately, this weekend, something bad did happen, but the confidence on Bitcoin was a lot higher. Why? Because people are realizing that, these banks don't have any money, and the only way out of money is to buy assets. Bitcoin is the number one asset because it has limited supply.
Most banks don't have enough capitalization to cover an entire bank run, full bank run. And that's just part of the system. Tell us about the system. You were telling me offline, you think that the banking system is going to fall apart.
Yes, they don't have enough capital to survive a full bank run. However, the Federal Reserve does.
Sure.
Because they just print as much money as they want. And so, effectively, you've seen the SVB get bailed out, effectively, by the Federal Reserve by insuring all their bad debts, all the bad assets, basically.
Depositors are insured now?
Exactly. They're all covered. Everybody's covered. And all the other banks are covered as well. This is why all the banks went 80% on Monday and 80% down on Monday and 60% up.
So we're good.
Next day.
We're good. We're good then, Davinci. We don't have to worry about a banking crisis because they're just going to get bailed out. We don't have to worry. Is that true?
Well, there is another crisis coming. Another huge crisis is confidence in the dollar. If you continue to print money, the confidence in dollar is going to erode. So this continuation of this will eventually go, okay, you're just bailing out the banks, they're going to do whatever they want. Effectively, remember in our last conversation, banks just have to realize that there is no limit on how much they can create, money they can create. And so they can loan somebody $1 trillion, $2 trillion if you like. And there's no stopping them except policy.
You told me offline that you think that this year could be the start of a big banking crisis. Can you expand on that for us?
Yes, I believe that it's going to could end our financial system in one foul swoop as confidence gets eroded with the dollar. Because if you continue to bail out the banks nonstop, they are going to use this to their advantage. How many CEOs are looking at this and going, if I just make this problem even bigger, they're going to take care of me and my family for the rest of my life. Printing some more money.
Look, I know you. Look, man. I know you and I are at a crypto conference, and a lot of people here hating on banks, and I get that. But let's be practical here. We still need banks for everyday life. Could there ever come a point where I don't have any money, not a cent in a financial bank, in a traditional financial institution, everything I own is either on-chain or in a DEX or in a wallet? Could that day come?
Yes, actually, back in the 1900s or earlier days before the Federal Reserve, banks were getting worried because more and more people were not leaving money in the bank. In fact, there was no need because the money was increasing in value as we innovate. As we innovate, we could make things cheaper, and so the money stock gets more valuable. So why risk your money in a bank which has to lend it out? At the time, they were lending out actual depositors' money and taking a risk, right? You're getting a percentage interest rate, of course, for depositing with the bank, but that was a significant risk to you. So why take that risk if you can gain a percentage income, a percentage rate, as it's not actually a number of coins, your currency is increasing, but the value is increasing by 2-3% at a time. And so the banks were getting scared, and that's where they came up with the Federal Reserve System, so that ensure that they could expand the money supply easily enough. Because if the money supply is shrinking for them, meaning in the banks, the number of people depositing in banks, they've got a problem. They can't lend to so many people. So, and that's how they make money. But if they can expand the money supply unlimited with the central bank, well, now they can do more loans.
Here's one argument against adopting Bitcoin for your everyday life, and please challenge this if you can. Gresham's law: bad money drives out the good. It came from, I think, 17th century England. The king came up with these new coins that were not real silver. They were just some alloy, cheaper alloy. When the citizens of the UK realized this, they hoarded the real silver coins, and they didn't spend them. They spent the bad money, the new money that was cheap alloy, and they hoarded all those silver coins for a home. Now, if you assume Bitcoin is better money, people are just going to hoard Bitcoin. They're going to store it in their wallet. They're not going to use it. They're going to use the cheap dollars. So if essentially bad money is going to drive out Bitcoin out of circulation.
Yeah, so basically, like you said, they've said that if some people get cheap money from the government, right, they're going to spend that, not the good money. But is your goal just to have money and have digits on in a digital wallet to go, oh, look, I'm rich? No, that's not your end goal. Your end goal is stuff that you can buy, things you can own, things you can touch, not digits on a screen. So you're gonna eventually spend that because you want things. You want a nice car, you want a nice house, right? You want a nice cell phone, you want a nice jacket, you want nice clothing. You're going to spend money, no matter what. Some might be later, it might be sooner. Everybody has different time preferences for spending money, but you're going to do that eventually. And if you don't, well, you're going to die poor whilst you're super rich. That's just dumb.
Davinci, when we spoke a few months ago, you gave me a forecast, $100,000 Bitcoin by 2024 after the halving event. Have recent events in the banking sector that we just described, have those events changed your forecast, your outlook?
Not at all, not at all. I think it's strengthened it. Maybe we can possibly get 100K this year, because of this crisis. I think a lot of confidence will be lost in the dollar, and man, that is going to be a scary ride. Now, it's not the end of the world. People are thinking, oh man, if the dollar collapses, that's it. Everybody's going to die. No. All the buildings are still going to be here. All the services and stuff like that are still going to be here. All the restaurants, everything's still going to be here. The only thing that's missing is the money. It's like having little problems, but that's okay. The world doesn't come to an end because we're having problems with money.
The big problem we have, Davinci, is inflation. How do we hedge against inflation? What is, in your opinion, the best inflation hedge?
Well, the best inflation hedge, it depends on your time horizon, right? So if you're only looking to solve the inflation problem with a short-term time frame like 6 months to a year, you're probably better off with maybe gold, but even then, right, you might lose a few percentage if you need to cash it out. So I would suggest people find an asset that's best for them, and I think it's just to leave it in cash, especially if you know you have this debt to pay. So if you're saying, okay, well, in 6 months I've got to pay my rent, and it's fixed. Your rent's fixed. You've got to pay these debts, these mortgage payments, whatever it is. If it's the debt denominated in dollars, that is the money that you should be holding, because you have those debts coming due in the future, and they're denominated in dollars, and they can't be changed. As long as they can't be changed, that's fine. Now, if it does change, I think Bitcoin would probably be even better if things get really out of whack and you have to save. If you're saving for a longer term, if you're saving for a long term, over 5 years, Bitcoin's the best thing to own over gold.
Tell us about the future of blockchain. It's the theme of your panel.
The future of blockchain was about, do I see blockchain's future becoming a part of everyday life? And with corporations getting involved with blockchain, saying, hey, you know what, we're going to save so much money with blockchain by organizing our logistical systems and so forth, right? And I'm like, what are you smoking? What? You can't do that unless you have proof of work, right? Without proof of work, the blockchain is just, I'm calculating a set of block of data and chaining them together. And if you don't chain them with proof of work, well, any computer system can rewrite the whole chain right away, instantly, and change whatever data that was in there. And so that's what you're trying to prevent. And the only way to prevent that is with proof of work. So it takes too long and too much work to change the chain of data. And once you do that, once you introduce proof of work, it becomes super, super inefficient.
VCs jump on this big blockchain bandwagon because it's a buzzword. They want to attach blockchain to everything, but like you just described, there's some inefficiencies. You shouldn't use blockchain for everything. Tell us about some of the things that people are using blockchain for that they really shouldn't.
Well, they're using blockchain to, like, for example, for their logistics, right? As I mentioned before. Yeah. And it's not really useful in that sense. It's not useful for, storing, like, for example, transactional data. Let's just say Bitforex wanted to go, we're going to use blockchain to store all the every single transaction that has occurred on this exchange. That's just dumb. Why? Because the data can be changed without a proof of work system, and a decentralized proof of work system as well. Because if it's just one person doing the proof of work, well, then they could just do all the proof of work over again to rechange the blockchain, the chains of data, right? It might take them a long time, but they have the time to do it. Now, they have to slow down. They have to do a lot of work beyond just redoing the blockchain over time, but it is possible.
Finally, Davinci, where can we learn more about your work and get more deeper into your predictions?
Well, you can follow me at DavinciJ15.com. That's my website, or DaVinciJ15 on YouTube, DaVinciJ15 on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
All right. Well, you've got a big social following, and I appreciate you coming on the show and giving us your time. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.